Happy New Year. Happy 2017. So let's welcome it in. Let's welcome in a year of so much more light. Let's say goodbye to 2016. I believe that everything we go through is good for something, and even when we go through challenging energy, challenging situations, it's good for something. It's just nice to know what it's good for. Then you can make peace with it and move forward. So today I want to give you the overall energy update. I want to walk you through a little practice around welcoming in the new year with some intentions. And as we go along through the year, I'll dive into the transits more as we are coming about them so that you can embody them, have tools to work with them, to open up your soul to your own soul growth, and really make great use of the energy. So I'll give you something overall about 2017. Number one, it's a year of more light. When we have more light, we're able to make better choices. We can see more choices. So when all the lights are on in the room, you can see all the windows, all the doors, and you can make a better informed decision about which way you want to exit, which way you want to enter. When the lights are off, you may not even be aware that there's windows and doors. You might feel like you have no choices. You might feel like you have limited choices. So this next year, we have more light. Why do we have more light? Because the benefic planets are in positions where they are in a beautiful relationship with one another in Vedic astrology. We have Jupiter in Virgo. We're going to have Venus starting at the end of January in Pisces, where it's exalted. It loves to be in the energy of Pisces, the spiritual, the imaginative, the otherworldly energy of Pisces. And it's going to be there for a good 5 months, but by the time it retrogrades. And then we're going to have Mercury line up, which is the other benefic planet, with Jupiter and with Venus. So you don't have to understand all the Vedic astrology, but what I want you to know is there's more light. These are planets that animate more light so that you have more choices. Everyone has these planets in their charts somewhere. If you're interested more about that, you can visit solutionary.com and we can do a personal reading for you in my groups, in my private program. I help people unpack their soul success map, unpack their Vedic astrology chart over time, and help you to make really, really good use of it so you can take your work out into the world, be authentically yourself, use your divine gifts in the way that your soul is calling you to gift the world, and to really open up into the fullness of you. And that is what 2017 is calling for more than ever. It's calling for you to be in your authenticity. Now, I know that you're watching this, that you already are quite aware. The thing is, it's not enough to have the knowing, to have your consciousness be open and you be aware without actually integrating all the way down through your third chakra, right down here onto planet Earth, and integrating what you know to be true, what your soul is wanting for you. You're being called more than ever to step forward with that. And everybody wants that. You know how it feels when somebody is incredibly authentic, when somebody, you can tell someone is just really representing something that's so uniquely theirs, even though many versions of that may be out in the world, how it lights them up, how it lights you up. Well, more than ever, I think everybody's BS meter, whether they're aware of it or not, is turned on high. So there is a demand for us to be even more authentic than ever, because the fact is you have divine gifts. Your soul is craving to fully actualize here, right here and now. 2017 is a big call to step forward, and we have less and less a margin for not being in full creation and not being fully ourselves. So full creation is when you get that inspiration, that you move it through you take action on it, and especially in your movement and your mission in the world. And when you're not in full creation, you're looking outside of yourself too much, you're borrowing things from other people, you are copying, and all those things dim you down. They make you less than. And we can't feel your full essence unless you are open and you are bringing the fullness of you, the fullness of your divine gifts forward. So we're in a Mercury retrograde right now. So we got a little bit of bumpiness around communication and such. We are in a bit of a challenging aspect. Actually, it's quite a challenging aspect. And we're seeing that play out as you watch some of these great ones that have been great artists on the planet leave this dimension. And that's this push-pull between Mars and Saturn we've had throughout 2016. This is kind of the last hurrah. We've got to get into the latter part of January before that fully lets up, but it's quite acute right now. So chill. Don't put yourself in a volatile situation. Give people lots of space. And as this moves past the last eclipse point for this last set of eclipses, this energy will mellow out. And then we're going to say goodbye to Saturn and Mars pulling on each other. So that's going to be a really good thing. We're all celebrating that. So that's just in January. As we come into the end of January with Venus, the great connector, relationship, artisticness, creativity, the muse, that energy is going to be animated for all of us. Again, more light. Jupiter directly aspecting Jupiter, the visionary, the great teacher and sage. Jupiter wants for itself, it wants for everyone involved, and we're going to have so much more light. So it's incredibly important you go into the new year as squeaky clean as possible. So I'll give you more throughout the year as the transits become relevant. And if you want more information, you want specifics, go to solutionary.com. You can go to services. I've got, group mentoring, private mentoring. Also, your soul success map. The intro to your soul success map is your personal reading where we really dig into things, and also sacred wealth code readings. And I'll be bringing you a lot more around your sacred wealth code here in the new year, including my new book coming out and a whole new program around that, so that you can step into your divine gifts and have the support to do that, which opens you to wealth, arta, the acquisition of what it is you need to fulfill your purpose. That's where purpose and prosperity meet. Okay, let's take a deep breath with all that information. Information is not of much use unless you actually embody it and use it. Causes some transformation if it hits the right places within you, but then it's about using it. So there's lots of ways to set intentions. I'm going to take you through just a short process here so that you can tune in with what you're most grateful for from this year that you've come through. So one of the great uses of looking at the past is to look at the past for what you've learned, what has helped you grow, what blessings that you have from the challenges you've come through, what you're doing differently now that you always wanted to. So what I want to invite you to do is grab something to write with. And I want you to take a moment, take a couple of deep breaths. Let's get grounded. Let's get centered up. You can pause this video at any time so that you can work through the process. I go through this much, much, much deeper with my clients, but I want to give you a version that's very doable, that doesn't feel like it's going to take you all day, and that you'll get some real benefit from right now. So close your eyes. Let's all take a deep breath together. Put your hand on your heart, your center of truth, your center of wisdom. Put your other hand down on your solar plexus. This is your point of integration in the physical. I like to think of this as the deep heart, where the top of your heart center is more like the top of the heart, like if you were going to think about a heart shape, and the bottom of that heart shape goes right down into the center of your solar plexus. We need to integrate all the way through the great bridge between the fourth and the third chakra, the heart and the solar plexus. Through the heart, we tap into that deeper knowing. We get to the truth. Truth feels good down to the marrow of our bones. And down through the third chakra, we take that inspired action and we move it forward. We have to do that part. So I want to just take you on a little journey. You can just keep your eyes closed. And I want to invite you just to reel all the way back to the beginning of 2016. And consider some of the, intentions that maybe you had for yourself this year, some of the goals, some of the things that you wanted to accomplish, some of the things you wanted to let go. And as you go through the timeline, January, February, March, the first quarter of the year, and just kind of get a sense of what that was like for you. April, May, and June, the second quarter of the year. And just how that felt for you, maybe some of the challenges you went through, some of your achievements. You can write these down or just tune into them right now. And then going into the third quarter of the year, as we go into July, August, and September, and how that felt for you. What was the flavor? What were you dealing with? What were you celebrating? And into this last quarter of the year, October, November, December. What was your running theme? And as you're looking back, I want you to notice what was the biggest thing that you could celebrate from this last year. The number one thing that you could celebrate. When I look back at this last year, there's so much that I could celebrate. And I have to say, one of the biggest things is owning my gifts at a bigger level, of letting go of any outside influences that are no longer serving me, and where I was making myself small, and opening up to more of my gifts and the creational energy that wants to come through me, my own soul's evolution, so I could be of even greater service. And I'm totally celebrating that. Did I have some growing pains with that? You betcha. You betcha. I had to let go of some people. I had to let go of some situations. I had to go it alone in some places. And then I also found like-minded, like hearts. So what are you celebrating? And then also, what is it that, and if you're celebrating more than one thing, just write it down. Tell it to yourself. That's great. And then also, what was your biggest challenge of this last year? Whether you've already found the blessing in it or not, what was your biggest challenge? What was the thing that you really struggled with the most? What was that biggest thing for you? What was your hardest hit? For me, one of my hardest hits for this last year was really having to let go of something that I already thought that I had let go of. And as you well know, we work in spirals and we peel layers and layers away. And as we grow and expand, we might bump up against another one of those layers in that spiral, so that we need to peel that back, go deeper with it. And you might think, oh, I already dealt with that. And then because you've expanded and you're bringing more of yourself forward, more of your gifts forward, you realize, oh, there's more of that for me to let go of, to make more room for myself. One of mine was, I can't be all things to all people. I can't please everybody. I thought I dealt with that like 50 times, but there was another level of me dealing with that. And by trying to be all things to all people in certain situations, it was keeping me from being the best that I could be in some particular areas, and especially in my movement in the world. So even though there was some growing pains with that, and I had to do some serious letting go. And it felt like disappointing others, but I was sacrificing disappointing myself and my own gifts and what my soul really wants for me and my own purpose by pleasing others. So I've made peace with that, and I'm grateful now. Yeah, it hurt. It was hard. But guess what? It was the only hard part. The hardest part of it was thinking about it. So there's lots of clearing processes, and I'm not going to go into all of that today, but what I want to invite you to do is just recognize what was your biggest growing pains, what was your biggest challenge. Can you see the blessing in it? I just described the blessing in mine. Can you see the blessing in it? And if you can, tell yourself what that blessing is, write that down. If you can't see the blessing in it, maybe you haven't got as much distance as you need yet. You will eventually. You will eventually. So I want you to have compassion with yourself right now if you cannot see the blessing in what you've been through. If it's still really hard, just have some compassion for yourself. Know, like other things, that you will in the future be able to see the blessing in this and hand it over to the divine. Walk around with open palms and surrender it and trust that you will at some point get what was in this for you, because I guarantee you anything that's in your life, there is something in it for you. Okay, so you've got what you're most grateful for, your biggest growth of the year, your biggest celebration also. What was your biggest challenge? And as we look towards the new year, I want you to now, just like you're standing on a hilltop and you're looking at 2017 with all that anticipation, like you're going on the most magical trip of your lifetime, because it can be the most magical trip of your lifetime this next year, but you have to choose to be in that magical state, that miracle state. And what puts you in the miracle state? Getting out of your own way and being all of you, which is risky business because that's not what we're taught, but that's what I'm here to support you, because that's what we need more than ever. It's not enough to know. It's not enough to talk about what you know is true. You've got to be it. You've got to do it. That's what the world is calling for more than ever. That's what some of the hard realities that we've seen happen in the last few months in the world are showing us. It's time, and everybody gets to play a part, and you have such a brilliant part to play. So when you look at this next year, I want you to just take a deep breath and, again, put your hand on your heart, and if you've got another hand free, put it on your solar plexus, because, again, you've got to integrate through both of these places. Your deep heart all the way down through your inspired action. And out of the many goals and desires you have and intentions for this next year, just for our purposes today, I want to invite you to drop into your heart, take a deep breath through your heart, let your mind just melt right down into the center of your heart, sitting down in that wisdom of your soul, embracing all of your divine gifts, whether you know what they are or not. And I want to invite you to tune into, if there was one thing that, one intention, one goal, one ambition, one thing that you are really being called to actualize this year, to do, to move forward in the world, what might that be? What's the one thing out of the many? And that's fine that you have many, but what's the one thing that's most important? What's the diamond? What's the gem, the finest gem that you're being called to animate? You don't have to know how, so put that away. Good. Write that down. Again, you can pause this anytime you need, if you need more time. Write that down, the one thing that you're being called more than any of the other intentions you have for this year, more than any of the other goals. What is that one thing? Write that down. Ask yourself this important question: what's one inspired action that you can take? That you can take in the next day, the next 2 days, to support yourself in starting to live into that intention for yourself for this next year right now? What's one inspired action? So the way you do this, it's an open-ended question. It goes right to the soul. What's one action that I could take that would support me in living into, in being this intention I have for myself for this next year. When you work with your sacred wealth code, as I do with all my clients, we actually consult with each aspect of your sacred wealth code, and there's certain aspects of your sacred wealth code which is really the best of you, your gold, that supports you and wants to come forward in your divine gifts to help make that happen. So I want to invite you just to go with that inspired action now, and I'm going to, even whether you know your sacred wealth code or not, I'll give you one question that will help you access it. So, what is one of my divine gifts that I need to bring forward, I need to develop, I need to use more fully to help me with this intention? What's one of my divine gifts? Maybe it's that you're an amazing communicator. Maybe it's your creative ability to help other people clarify their thoughts or their message. Maybe you're an incredible healer, and that's one of your gifts. So what's your unique divine gift? Just the one for today that you need to bring forward, that you need to really step into, that has to come forward to infuse this intention. Write that down. Trust whatever came up for you, because I know you have a lot of gifts. Your soul already knows. So even if you don't know what your sacred wealth code is, which you can get a sacred wealth code reading from me if you'd like. You can go to solutionary.com, and you can go to the services page under Vedic charts, and you can get a sacred wealth code reading. But your soul already knows, so I want you to get one of those divine gifts today. Now, the next thing I want to invite you to tune into. So you have the one intention you're going to focus on right now. You've got the inspired action, and you've got the divine gift. You've got the divine gift that you also is going to support you in bringing this forward. And let's go one more level, and that's, what's the commitment that I want to make to myself this coming year? Like, what is the commitment? How is it? This may be related to how you want to feel. Like, for instance, or we could even call it, what's your one word? One of my words for this next year is alignment. It often is, but it is full alignment with my soul. It's full alignment also in everything that I do. Have it be fully aligned with my divine gifts, with what's congruent for me. So alignment, yes, in my inner alignment, but alignment all the way through to what I'm thinking, what I'm engaging in, what I'm eating, who I'm being with, what I'm teaching, and that it is resonant and aligned with the absolute best of me. And I can tell, because I can feel that. So that's one of my commitments to myself. I have a couple others. One of them is that also that this year is going to be more magical than ever. More magical than ever, because when you play in consciousness, when you play from the inside out, you can bring magic into everything. When you know that that's true, but then you are playing only in 3D reality, or another way I could say that is that you are stuck in what you believe is possible, you're bouncing, you're taking other people's opinions over your true knowing, then you sort of dumb down the magic in your realm. I'll do a whole teaching on that, so I'm not going to go so much into that right now. But what is your commitment that you're making to yourself? So tune into that. Like, if you made this commitment to yourself, whether it's being truthful with yourself or following through on your word, or like mine, being in alignment all the way through, from the inside all the way through my actions, all the way through. What's your commitment that you're going to make to yourself. Could even be putting yourself first. So tune into that. What's your commitment this year? Articulate that. Again, you can pause if you need to. So here's the thing. You're supported more than ever. You're always supported by the universe. Sometimes we have to be willing to do a lot of letting go to feel that support. This year, as we go into this year, I want you to feel more light. The light is there. The lights are on. There's less room for you to move, to not be congruent with yourself. And there's so much more room to move in the choices and bringing more of you forward. You're so supported in that. So I hope this practice has been helpful for you to set some intentions for this next year. You can use the same practice for setting more intentions. I just wanted you to walk away with the big theme for the year. Write these things down. Put them up so they're in front of you. Make a recording of them so that you can listen daily. If you're a creative, write a song about it. Do a piece of artwork about it. Speak about it to your beloved. Bring it down through that 3D reality and take action on it regularly. You can find me at solutionary.com, SOULUTIONARY.com. Prema Gurreri, Vedic astrologer, soul purpose mentor. I am so passionate about you living into your divine gifts. We need you being more of you, more than ever. Imagine a world where we're all leading, change-making from our divine gifts. How blessed we all are, and how inspired we all are and gifted we all are. All right, much love, and Happy New Year. Mwah.